He knocked on the door.
There's an outside door, isn't there?
Yes.
Before you can get into the building, correct?
Yes.
And then once you get in the building, there's your door.
Yes.
Now, he didn't have a key to the outside door, did he?
No.
So he had to pound on that outside door in order to get in.
I don't know how he got in the outside door. He
Is
knocked on my door.
At some point, you said that he had gone to the back door. Was it that night or some other night?
The first time he came,
Mm-hmm.
he was at the back door.
And that was at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
About 5 in the morning, I think. It was early.
Very early.
Yes, very early.
And on both occasions, you told us that Mr. Amoroso was asking about Bella.
Yes, he asked me.
And he thought at first that she was living with you, didn't he?
Yes.
And when he first came on September 9th, he wanted to come in and see her.
Yes.
Even though it was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And on that date, he was also pretty messed up, wasn't he?
I don't know if he was messed up, but
Well,
he could have been.
Say he was living on the streets?
Yes, I think so.
He appeared to be high or drunk or both?
The second time he came, yes.
How about the first time?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. But in any case, he was asking for Bella, and you told him she's not here, she's with her godparents on the Cape.
The second time I told him she was on the Cape.
Right, the first time you said
she's with her godparents.
She was with her
yes.
godparents, and you remember that difference.
Yes.
Okay. So the second time you came back, again insisting to see her.
Yes.
And you again told him she's not here, she's with her godparents on the Cape.
Yes.
And he wasn't going to take no for an answer, was he?
He didn't really ask anyone.
Well, isn't it true that you knew that Mr. Amoroso was going to go to the authorities and complain about you?
No.
Well, you knew he had done it once before, correct?
And failed, yes.
Well, you knew that he had complained about your neglect of Bella when she was about a month old.
Yes.
And as a result of those complaints, the Department of Children and Families supported the allegation that you had neglected Bella.
They did an assessment and felt that there was no support for those.
At this point, I'm going to ask that this next exhibit be introduced.
Okay, this is what we discussed, and the part of it that we discussed, you're going to put on the screen that's admitted. I'm sorry, is it? I think it's the same thing we looked at. Just show Mr. Deacon. Okay. Okay.
May I publish it, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Deacon, do you need some help?
Apologies, Attorney Deacon. I'm just trying to get the... It's showing the computer.
I'm displaying Exhibit 37 on the monitor. Can you see that,
Yes.
Ms. Bond?
Yes.
if you read the last line, it says, the report was supported for the neglect of reported child Bella by mother in connection with the investigation dated September 24th of 2012. You see that?
The bottom,
Yeah, the last line.
Yes.
The report was supported for the neglect of reported child Bella by mother.
Okay.
Okay, so at this time, how old was Bella?
22 days, it says.
Mr. Amoroso reported you to the Department of Child and Families, correct?
Yes.
And as a result of the report, it was determined that you had neglected Bella, correct?
Objection to that. That's overstating the conclusion.
The document is as
The
stated.
document speaks for itself. The report was supported for neglect of reported child Bella by mother.
To open an investigation, yes.
Now, after that, you know that Mr. Amoroso, a number of months later, had made another complaint to DCF, correct?
His parents did,
His parents had made a complaint.
not Joseph.
Okay. And as a result of that, there was another investigation by DCF.
Yes.
And you believed that his parents had made that complaint in conjunction with Mr. Amoroso.
I don't know. No, I don't know about that.
Okay. In any case, DCF got involved again, correct?
Yes.
And for a second time, in June of 2013, Bella was about 10 months old.
Yes.
And DCF again supported the allegation of neglect by you against Bella.
Yes.
I'd like to offer this as the next exhibit.
I need to show it to Mr. Deacon.
No objection, Your Honor. And with the proposed redaction.
Yes, as discussed. So that's Exhibit 38.
I'm putting Exhibit 38 on the monitor, and if you see disposition comment, the allegations of neglect of Bella Bond by her mother, Rachelle Bond, will be supported, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And then it goes on to say the department has found sufficient evidence to support the allegations of neglect of Bella by her mother.
And then it also says, however, DCS has not found sufficient evidence to show her mother isn't a drug user.
Yeah. So when Mr. Amoroso showed up on September 9th and September 15th,
Yes.
you were worried that there may be again a report to the authorities.
No.
But you knew that if he did report you to the authorities, you'd be in trouble.
Oh, yes.
Because the story that you had told about Bella being elsewhere was going to fall apart.
Yes, because McCarthy killed Bella, yes.
Yeah, I know you say that every time, don't you?
It's the truth.
The fact of the matter is that you were afraid that you would be blamed, weren't you?
To a certain extent, yes.
And you were afraid that you would be blamed because of all the things that pointed toward you as the perpetrator.
Can you be more specific?
Well,
All the things?
you were afraid that you would be blamed, weren't you?
To a certain extent, yes.
And you were afraid that you would be blamed because of your background, correct?
I didn't really think about my background in it, no.
Why were you afraid?
I was afraid because she was dead, and every second that went by that I didn't contact the emergency services was a mistake.
And why were
After
you
he killed her.
afraid they would blame you?
because I didn't contact them right away.
You were afraid that they would blame you because the story you told didn't make any sense, correct?
No.
You knew that if they asked you, why didn't you report it? And you said, I was scared. You knew they wouldn't believe that, didn't you?
To a certain extent, I guess, yes.
And so you were afraid they think you did it.
Maybe.
Yeah. And so when you were afraid that the authorities might get involved, you decided you need to come up with a new story.
This story's been the same since the beginning.
And the story you decided to come up
The facts have been the
with
same
was
since the beginning.
that Michael McCarthy killed Bella. That was the new story.
That's the facts.
Because up until that point, you were able to get away with everything by saying Bella's off somewhere for the summer,
I
right?
didn't get away with anything. My child is dead.
You told Michael Sprinsky that Bella was with your sister, didn't you?
No.
Are you telling us that Michael Sprinsky never asked you where Bella was?
No.
Michael Sprinsky, you told us, had a good relationship with Bella, correct?
Yes.
He had lived in your house with you and Bella and Mr. McCarthy for some period of time.
A couple weeks, yes.
He liked Bella.
Yes, he did.
Bella got along with him.
Everybody liked Bella.
And then Mr. Sprinsky went off to an alcohol and drug treatment program for about a month, right?
I don't know where he went.
Well,
I don't. That's not my business. He's not my friend.
you didn't know where he went?
I don't know where he went. I didn't ask.
But at some point, he came back.
Yes.
And he was in and out of the house in May and in June and in July and even as late as September 15th,
Yes.
right?
Couple times, yeah.
Are you telling us that during that time, Mr. Sprinsky never said to you, by the way, where's Bella?
He didn't ask me.
Are you telling us he never asked you where Bella was?
He did not ask me.
Okay. So in any case, you realized that the authorities were going to be looking into this, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you figured that you needed to tell a story so that they wouldn't blame you.
No. I
And
told the truth.
That's
And either
why,
way, I still took I took blame for it, my part in it.
That's
I
why.
didn't call emergency services, and
That's
to
why.
every day, that's a shameful
Judge,
thing.
can I ask
Well, I
that
think
the
she
witness
still-
be instructed to answer the question?
Well, I think she was still trying to finish her answer, so
It
before...
wasn't responsive.
But I think she needs to finish. Let's
Can I
continue.
finish that?
Why?
All right, I'm sorry.
If you want to restate, what was your answer?
I was just going to say that I took my responsibility by not calling emergency services, and I'm ashamed of it, of everything that happened after. And I made a mistake.
Anything else?
No.
Now, your new story that you told Mr. Sprinsky the very next day was that Michael had killed Bella 4 months ago, right?
I told Sprinsky that
That's what you
Michael
told
killed Bella,
Sprinsky,
yes.
right? And that was the very next day after Mr. Ambrosio showed up demanding to see Bella.
Yes.
So, for all the time before September 16th, when you went and told Sprinsky, oh, by the way, you said that you thought you could talk to Mr. Sprinsky. Isn't that why you told him?
Yes.
But he had been around all summer, hadn't he?
At that point, I told Sprinsky,
He had been around all summer, hadn't he?
I don't know about all summer, but a couple times he came over, yes.
Well, You just told me a minute ago he was there in May, in June, in July, in August, and September, right?
I didn't say all that. I said he came by a few times, but not all that.
But when he came by, you didn't talk to him, did you?
No.
You didn't say anything to him, did you?
No, I didn't talk to him because that's Michael's friend, not really mine. I stayed in the background.
Well, what about on September 16th? Was he still Michael's friend, or did somehow between the last time you saw him and September 16th did he become your friend?
I felt like
Did he become your friend?
I felt like I had to get it off my chest, and he was the first person I saw that knew Bella and me.
Uh-huh. You didn't see a police officer that morning?
I don't know.
You didn't look for a police officer that morning, did you?
No.
You said that you had finally escaped the bonds of Mr. McCarthy and you wanted to come clean. Is that what you said?
I said that, yes.
Did you see a police officer?
My first thought was...
Did you see a police officer?
I don't know. Didn't pay attention.
Did you look for a police officer?
No.
In any case, this is the very next day after Amoroso came by, right?
Yes. Or a few hours
Now, Mr. Deacon asked you repeatedly why you never called 911, screamed for help, or try to get away after you say that Michael killed Bella, right?
Yes.
The real reason you didn't do any of those things is because that never happened. Michael didn't kill Bella.
Michael killed Bella.
The reason that you didn't do those things is because you didn't want the authorities to know what had really happened to Bella.
No, because, like I said, I had been dragged through this. And at that time, every second that went by, it was worse and worse.
And so it was so bad that when the police finally came, and you knew they were going to come, right?
Eventually, yes, of course.
You knew they were going to come. And when they finally came, what did you do? You jumped out the window and ran away,
Yes.
right? So you weren't ready to make a clean breast of it yet, were you?
I wanted to get a lawyer first and go to them myself.
You weren't ready to make a clean breast of it at that point, were you?
I wanted to get a lawyer and go to them myself.
Okay. You didn't get a lawyer, did you?
No, because it was too early. Nobody
You
answered
didn't?
the phones. I had looked them up on my phone.
When the police came to your house, it was 10 o'clock on the morning of September 17th.
Okay.
Okay? That's not too early to contact a lawyer, is it?
No, I hadn't looked them up till later.
Well, you told us that you jumped out your window and ran away from the police because you first wanted to call a lawyer.
Yes. Well,
But you hadn't tried to call a lawyer, had you?
Yes, hold on. Mr. Shapiro, you are interrupting her answer, so let's try, and I just tell Ms. Bond, wait until he finishes the question before you answer. It's very hard for the court reporter. It's also hard for the jury to understand what she's saying in response. So let's one at a time.
Question is, as of 10 o'clock when the police came, you hadn't made any effort to call a lawyer, had you?
No, not at the time.
And after you ran out, jumped out the window, you didn't make any effort to call a lawyer, did you?
No, I went and talked to Joey first.
You ran away.
I went to talk to Joey first.
So, you needed more time to figure out what you were going to say when the police finally caught up with you.
No.
Right? No? You didn't need more time?
Why would I need more time?
Then why did you run away?
I was scared.
Now, when you finally were arrested, or when the police finally found you, that wasn't until a day later.
The next morning, yes.
And by that time, you had gone to Lynn.
Yes.
And you were with Mr. Amoroso's parents.
Yes.
Now, at that time, you went down to talk to the police, right?
Yes.
And there were 2 detectives there.
I think there, yes.
Do you remember who they were?
There was a female, a woman, and I think a couple of males. A male, maybe. I'm not quite sure.
Do you remember when you sat down with them in the interview room?
Yes.
Who was there?
2 males.
Now, on Friday, when you testified here, Mr. Deacon asked you, what was the date that Bella was killed?
Yes.
Remember that question?
Yes, I do.
He sort of asked it in a way to suggest that any mother would know the date that her child had been killed.
Yes.
Right? But you said you couldn't remember.
Yes.
You said it was sometime in the beginning of June.
Yes.
And that's the best you could do.
Yes. Unfortunately.
And that's because I think you said you were a stay-at-home mom and just didn't follow the days or the times or anything?
Not really.
So,
I'm a stay-at-home mother that didn't work. Dates didn't really mean a lot.
and the fact that you claim that your daughter was murdered,
Yes.
that didn't make any difference. You didn't.
I didn't jump to the calendar and go, oh, that's the day it is. No, I didn't. And I didn't have a phone anymore, so no, I wasn't looking at that.
You didn't look on TV.
I didn't have a TV.
Well, you had a TV at some point. You told us that it was after this that Michael sold it.
Okay,
right?
but I didn't have television. I had a TV, but not cable or any
Right.
television stations.
Don't you remember on Friday you were asked, did you have a TV? And you said, well, we had cable until I stopped paying for it.
Which was in April. So there was no TV after that.
How do you remember that it was in April that you stopped paying for your TV, but you can't remember the day that your daughter was killed, you say?
Because it wasn't, like I said, I don't even know if it was the beginning of April, middle of April, it was sometime in April. The cable went out.
Now, do you remember what day of the week it was?
No. I don't remember
So,
if it was the first week or the second week.
Your-
Any time in April, I know it was April.
Are we talking about the cable?
Yes, the cable, I'm sorry.
No, I'm asking you what day of the week it was that you say that Bella was killed.
No, I don't remember what day.
You know, whether it was a weekend, during the week?
I'm not quite sure.
Now, and that's what you're saying today under oath?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you remember when you talked to the police on September 18th?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember that you told Lieutenant Murphy of the state police that you had remembered that the date Bella was killed was May 27th? Remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. So you told him specifically that it was on May 27th, right?
Yes, I think so.
And you told him that you remembered that specifically because it was 2 days before Mr. McCarthy's birthday.
That he was supposed to get his car, yes.
So back on September 18th, for whatever reason, you knew what you claimed the date was, right?
Yes.
You came up with a specific time.
Yes.
And when the police asked you, how do you know it was May 27th, you told them specifically, I remember it was because it was 2 days before Mr. McCarthy's birthday.
I said it was because he was supposed to get his car on his birthday, which he didn't end up getting until later. And I was wrong on the date.
Okay.
I don't know what else to tell you about that.
You weren't wrong that it was before his birthday, were you?
Yes.
Well, you told
Because
the
he was supposed to
police
get his car on his...
Hold on. Go ahead.
Because he was supposed to get his car on his birthday, which ended up being late.
you
And I didn't realize, yes. That was what was going off. His car was, he was supposed to get on his birthday. So no, I did not know the exact date. He got his car after.
Right. You
So
knew,
whatever the date was before he got his car, it was a couple days before that.
you knew what Mr. McCarthy's birthday was, didn't you?
Yes.
It was May 29th, correct?
28th, 29th, I'm not exactly sure, yes.
Well, didn't you tell the police it was May 29th?
Yes, I guess.
Okay, so now you don't remember it was May 29th?
I said 28th or 29th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember whether it was 28th or 29th?
I said it was the 28th or the 29th.
Do you remember now whether it was the 28th or the 29th?
I don't exactly know, no.
Okay.
28th or 29th.
But back when September 18th of 2015, you knew exactly it was the 29th.
I might have been more accurate then because it was right at that time. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not thinking about his birthday now, so no, I'm not really trying to remember his birthday.
But in any case, back then you knew it was May 29th, and
Okay.
you knew that what you say happened 2 days before his birthday.
But I based that on the fact that he was supposed to get his car on his birthday, which he didn't.
Okay, but whether he was supposed
So
to
I
get his...
made the mistake on the date because he got his car late. So that was me. Like I said, dates didn't mean much to me. I was a stay-at-home mother. Dates, his birthday, her, whatever. That doesn't matter. My birthday, who cares? The only birthday that mattered to me was hers.
Finished?
Yeah.
Whether you thought he was going to get his car on his birthday or whether he was going to have a birthday party on his birthday, you knew when his birthday was.
Objection has been answered several times.
Correct?
You can answer it.
Yes.
And you told the police that he had killed Bella 2 days before his birthday. Whether it was the day he was going to get his car or the day he was going to have a party, you told the police it was 2 days before his birthday, correct?
Right.
And that was not true, was it?
No.
Okay. And you changed your story between then and now because you realized that there was a big hole in that story, didn't you?
No, I realized I had the wrong
No.
date.
You realized there was a big hole because Mr. McCarthy didn't have a car on his birthday.
Right, and that's where I was saying he got his car on his birthday.
And if he didn't have a car, then your story that he had killed Bella, put her in the car, and driven somewhere wouldn't make sense because he didn't have a car.
Because I messed up the
Right.
date, yes. So,
Okay.
right.
So when did he get his car?
Sometime in the beginning of June. I don't know the exact
When
date.
in
I
the
wasn't
beginning
there.
of June?
I wasn't there when he picked up his car.
So you have no idea when he got his car.
No, I don't remember.
But you knew that he didn't have it in May.
Yes,
How do you know he didn't have it in May?
because he didn't have his car.
Well-
I don't...
In any case,
Right.
when you realized, and isn't it true that when the police went over your story with you, and you said that it happened on May 27th, at some point the police told you that won't work because he didn't have his car
Objection.
on May 27th.
Objection.
No. I answered no.
And I'm sorry, you just have to wait until I rule on it. If there's an objection from the lawyer,
Yes.
then you just have to pause on your answer until I rule, okay?
I'd have to be seen at sidebar for a moment.
I don't know that we need to do that.
I'd ask for a motion to strike the question on the grounds that there is no good faith basis for that question.
Okay, and I just remind the jury that the questions asked by the lawyers are not evidence. So whatever Mr. Shapiro suggests by his question is not evidence. It's the answer the witness gave to the question. The witness said no here. That was not the case. I let the answer stand. But I, again, just remind the jury about that.
Back on September 18th, when you met with the police, you told the police, you gave them the rest of your story, and you said that Michael had disposed of Bella's body 2 days after he killed her.
The day or two I said yes.
Okay. So that would have been on May 28th or May 29th, according to what you told the police, right?
But I said I made a mistake on the date, so no. It was 2 days, I think, or the day before he got his car,
Well,
like I said.
When you say you made a mistake on the date, what's the new date? You don't know a new date, do you?
Should I answer that?
Do you know a
He
new...
said he was getting his car on his birthday, which showed up late. He didn't get it on his birthday.
So
I didn't realize that was the date because I made the mistake of thinking that he was getting his car, he got his car on his birthday, but he didn't.
So
I
you
don't
made a
know how to
mistake.
answer that.
You made a mistake on the date. What was the new date?
What do you mean was the new date? I
What
told
was
you
the
it
new
beginning of
date
June at some
that he got
point.
his car?
I don't know the date he got his car.
Now, that was hole number one in your story. He didn't have a car on the day you said that he killed Bella and disposed of her body, correct?
Killed her and then disposed of her after he got the car.
Now,
I don't know.
the next hole...
I don't know that we need to characterize testimony here by saying anything or commenting on the testimony, just ask the question.
There was another hole in your story, wasn't there?
Objection as to form.
As sustained.
On June 1st, the beginning of June, Bella was alive, wasn't she?
It was either sometime in the beginning of June he killed her. Like I said, I don't know exactly what date.
Yeah, the
So
question...
I can't give you exact dates if I don't know them myself.
Well, my question is, isn't it true that Bella was alive on June 1st?
It could have been, yes.
Yeah.
It could have been, yes.
Well, it could have been or was.
Yes,
She was.
I think so.
How do you know?
Like I said, he got his car at some point the day after he killed her, or that, and that's what I was going off what the date was. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know what else to tell you about that. I keep going back to that. I'm not sure.
How do you know that Bella was alive on June 1st?
I said I think so.
Well, why do you think so?
I'm just saying I think she was. I'm
Yeah,
not.
but why?
I don't know how to answer that. I can't come up with an answer for you.
I'm putting on the monitor a text message.
Counsel, you may want to blank.
Hmm?
Is this something in evidence already?
I don't think so.
Okay, if it's not in evidence, just make sure it just shows up on counsel's screen and the witness's screen as well as my screen.
You see this?
Yes.
This is dated June 1st of 2015,
Yes.
and it's from a phone. Do you know that phone's number? Do you know the number?
I think that's the his little welfare phone. That's what you
Right.
call it, yes.
Which you used.
Sometimes.
You used it the whole summer, didn't you?
No, not the whole summer. He'd take it back.
Are you telling us that you did not use that phone?
Yes, I...
1-857-526-2792, Dee's cell phone, that you didn't use that all summer?
I used it when he left it with me, yes.
In any case, on June 1st of 2015, you used that phone to call him,
Okay. Text him, yes.
right?
Yes.
And what did you tell him?
To buy tobacco, because we were out.
Just read the
Read the whole
text.
thing? Okay. Probably buy a bag of Grizzlies, which is the type of tobacco, 2 or a couple while you are around at CVS somewhere. Belle just told me to tell you Daddy she loves her.
Okay. Oh, probably buy a bag of Gizzies 2 or a couple while you are around the CVS somewhere. Belle just told me to tell Daddy she loves you.
Yes.
Now, fair to say that Belle was alive on that date?
Yes, then yes.
I offer this as the next.
Okay, that's admitted.
So, on this occasion, Mr. McCarthy was somewhere else, correct? And you were texting him with this phone.
Yes.
I'm putting on the screen a document. Can you see it?
Yes.
And it's a document which gives telephone information. You see that?
Okay, yes.
It says the calling number, correct?
Yes.
And it says the called number
Yes.
and the particular digits that were called and whether it was outbound or inbound, correct?
Yes.
And it shows the start date of the call and the end date of the call. See that?
Yes.
Okay. The number, the first number, 857-526-2792. That's your phone, correct?
The little cell phone, yes.
And on the start date, you have about, I don't know, a dozen or so or more calls on June 1st.
Yes.
So you were using your phone on June 1st a number of times, weren't you?
It was his phone.
Well, who had it?
Like I said, sometimes he'd leave with me when he'd leave, but when he'd come back, he'd take the phone back.
Okay.
I didn't need it.
Well, you didn't have friends?
Not at that point. I
How
didn't
about
talk-
Julie Stubbs?
Oh, Julie, yes, I talked to her once in a while.
You called her a lot that summer, didn't you?
To see if she wanted to buy Klonopins, but otherwise...
The question was, you called Julie Stubbs a lot that summer, didn't you?
Probably a few times, yes.
And you had other friends as well, didn't you?
No, I didn't really have... These are acquaintances.
Do
These are
you
people
see
that-
the numbers that were called on June 1st?
Okay.
You called Mr. McCarthy several times.
Okay.
He called you.
Okay. I don't know all these numbers, just so you know.
Do you see that you made calls on that phone on June 2nd?
Yes, I guess.
Did you see you made calls on June 3rd?
I guess.
You see you made calls on June 5th?
Where else? That doesn't mean that I had this phone.
You
Who's
see
to
that
say those are the people I know?
you see that calls were made on June 5th?
Yes, but this isn't my phone.
When you say it's not your phone, you were using the phone, weren't you?
Sometimes, yes. Not
And
always.
you were using the phone on all the days I just showed you.
I don't know all these numbers. So I don't know if this was me using the phone.
Do you remember Julie Stubbs? phone number?
No.
I'm putting up a document and ask if you recognize that.
I mean, yes, that's her number. It says her name under it, yes.
And this was dated 4/19 of 2015, correct?
4/19. Yes,
Yeah. April 19, 2015.
yes.
And you were calling Julie Stubbs.
Yeah, texting her, yes.
And Julie Stubbs was calling you.
For the record, please text.
Texting, yes.
Text messages.
And we don't have these documents in evidence. I haven't heard any objections, so you're fine to question about it.
Putting up again for you, do you see what's highlighted in yellow?
Yes,
Do you see you called Julie Stubbs,
texted,
text or called on June 11th?
I think these are texts.
Because there are zeros there?
Most of it was texting from that phone.
Well, you were texting from the phone to Julie Stubbs on June 11th, correct?
Okay, yes.
And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 calls.
Text,
Or text. You could call it a call or a text. It was on June 11th.
okay.
So you clearly had the phone on June 11th, didn't you?
It was in the house because he was in the house, yes.
How do you know that he was in the house on June 11th?
He didn't leave me for a couple weeks after he killed my daughter. He stayed by my side.
Didn't go out once?
When he went out with me, he would take me to the clinic.
And you're saying that between whatever time you say he killed Bella, he didn't leave your side once as late as June 11th?
He'd go to the clinic with me.
But you certainly had use of the phone, didn't you?
Sometimes he'd be right there.
You had use of the phone, didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
at some point, yes.
You could have called 911, couldn't you?
Conceivably, yes.
911, right?
Yes.
That's all you had to do. Well, he obviously let you have a phone, didn't he?
He let me have a phone. He had me use it once in a while if we
Well-
needed money.
Did you use it 5 times on June 11th to call Julie Stubbs?
It looks like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what all these numbers are.
So you had the phone, and you
Yes.
could have called 911, but you didn't.
Yes.
And then the next day, June 12th. You see that?
Yes, I see.
All of those calls on June 12th are to Julie Stubbs.
Texts, yes.
Text to Julie Stubbs. Right?
Yes.
So there must have been like 2 dozen, 3 dozen calls to Julie Stubbs.
Texts, yes.
So you clearly had that phone a lot of time on June 12th, didn't you?
And yes, I think he was with me on this one. I think he went.
You were
he
using
drove
it.
me
You
to
were using
get
it.
money from her. He was with me.
Well, you were calling from the apartment, right?
I don't know if this was from the apartment or the day that we drove out to see her to sell her pills. So he was with me.
Okay.
Yes.
I offer this as the next exhibit.
So we've referred to different pages.
Yeah.
We have the, so I'm not, you want to describe for the record what you
Yes,
like to mark?
this is the document reflecting calls from 857-526-2792.
Any objection or
No, but I got it.
still confirming? So I don't think there's any objection, but I just need to be clear about what it is what this next exhibit is.
This is the information for the phone 857-526-2792, beginning on June 1st and ending on June 30th
Okay.
of 2015.
Okay, that's admitted. Yes, we should staple it. Exhibit 40.
So showing publishing Exhibit 40. This 857-526-2792 was the phone that you used during that summer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And we see on the first page calls on June 1st, June 2nd, June 3rd, June 4th, June 5th. Correct?
Yes.
And on the second page, we have calls on June 5th, June 6th, June 7th, June 8th. Correct?
Yes.
The third page, we have calls on June 8th.
Yes.
And the fourth page, another page of calls on June 8th.
Yes.
Next page, calls on June 8th and June 9th,
Yes.
all from 857-526-2792, correct?
Yes.
Next page, we have calls from that same number on June 9th, and beginning at the bottom, June 10th.
Yes.
Next page, we have calls on June 10th and June 11th.
Yes.
On the next page, we have calls on June 11th, including a number of calls to your friend Julie Subbs,
The one I know.
correct?
That's the number I know, yes.
Next page, June 11th, and almost a full page of calls to Julie Subbs on June 12th.
Yes.
Now, in all of these calls to Julie Stubbs, did you ever tell her that you were in trouble?
No,
Did you ever ask her for help?
no,
Because you really weren't in trouble, were you? And you didn't need any help, did you?
yes, I was, but I didn't call. I didn't
Because
call.
if you really needed help, you had a friend that you spent the whole day on the phone with, and you never said a word.
I was scared, like I said
Yeah,
before. Yes.
because you didn't want the authorities to know, did you?
I was afraid to take the blame, yes.
So this page goes through June 13th. The next page, June 13th. The next page, June 13th, 14th, 15th. The next page, June 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th.
Are these all numbers I'm supposed to know? I don't.
Well, there's 857, 526, 2792 in each of these calls or texts.
That's
right?
the number
Okay. And the next page,
that I'm calling
June 19th, 21st, 22nd.
for. Okay, yeah.
Next page, June 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, correct?
Yes.
Next page, June 25th, June 26th, June 27th, June 28th, June 29th, June 30th, and the last page, June 30th.
Okay, yes.
So, Exhibit 40, it's fair to say, reflects calls on the phone that you were using throughout the month of June.
Okay.
Now, we know that you just told us that Bella was alive on June 1st.
Yes.
And you said that your story is that Michael killed her in the beginning of June.
He did.
Right? So it wasn't June 1st, was it?
I said the beginning. I didn't say exact date because I wasn't sure.
And it's fair to say that your text message on June 1st reflected how good a relationship Michael and Bella had.
Well, it seemed to, yes.
So on June 1st, Bella was sending her love to Daddy.
Yes.
And yet, you want us to believe that the next day, Michael killed her because he thought she was a demon?
That's what he did, and that's what he said. I
Now,
don't know what to tell you.
you told us that on this particular night, you were trying to get Bella to go to sleep in the back bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
You told us you had been transitioning her and that she was giving you a hard time
Yes.
and that this had gone on for 4 days
Yes.
and that you'd try to put her down and she'd come out and you'd go back and forth, right?
Yes. Yes.
And at some point you told us that you did have some discussion with Michael about her bedtime.
Yes.
Right?
Before that.
Because
Yes.
you thought you didn't have a bedtime for her, did you?
Not really. No.
She could go to bed early, late, whenever.
Yes.
And Michael seemed to think that it might be a good idea if she had a regular bedtime.
Yes.
That she might be able to get used to that, and therefore it might not be that difficult to put her to bed.
I don't know if that was the reasoning.
Well,
He just said that he thought she should go to bed on a certain time.
right. Go to bed at a certain time so that when you try to put her to bed each night, you tell your daughter, this is your bedtime, Bella. It's 8 o'clock and it's time for you to go to bed. Correct?
It didn't bother me.
Because if on one day you say go to bed at 8 o'clock, and the next day you say go to bed at 10 o'clock, and the next day you say you can go to bed at 11 o'clock, a child is not going to learn what bedtime is she?
I usually tried to put her on around 9 every night, and if she liked to just get up, she didn't like to sleep. I mean, until I laid down with her.
That's not what you told us a minute ago or a day ago. You told us that she didn't have a bedtime.
No. I tried around 9, like I said. If that didn't work, it was whenever.
You didn't tell us about it. It was 9 o'clock, did you?
Nobody said
You just
time.
told us right now.
Okay, yes, and I'm telling
For
you
the
now.
first time.
Okay.
So Michael was the one who thought she should have a bedtime.
We
And
both
you-
thought she should have a bedtime. It wasn't just Michael. I don't
and you didn't.
understand.
In any
No, because
case,
she played me and I let her. She was my little girl. I didn't mind that she didn't want to go to bed at a certain time. She's 2. Does it matter what time she goes to bed at 2 years old? She doesn't have school the next day. I don't have work. There's no appointments.
but Michael disagreed with that, right?
He would say things about it.
He
But
thought it might be a good idea to have a regular bedtime.
we both thought it was a good idea, but that doesn't mean it happened.
So, at some point, you say that Michael, that you suggested that Michael go down and try to put her to sleep.
I didn't suggest that.
He suggested it,
He said, let me go try.
and you thought that was a good idea.
I don't know if that was a good idea, but I was like, okay. I mean,
Well,
I've tried for a while now.
didn't you think that she responded to him better because he was a man?
Yes, I did say that.
Okay. So you thought it would be a good idea if he tried to put her to bed because you thought that she responded to him better.
Yes, because I was very lenient with her, so she knew she could get away with everything with me,
Okay.
yes.
So, so in any case, you say Michael went in, correct, to her back bedroom,
Yes,
and that's where she had a mattress on the floor.
yes.
And you say about 5 minutes later, you didn't hear anything.
No, I didn't.
And so you told us you wanted to go back to see what was happening.
Yeah, see if she was,
Well, to see what?
see if she was actually going to sleep.
Well, if she was quiet and there was no sound and she wasn't coming out, why did you have any doubt that she was going to sleep?
He wasn't coming out either, so
Well-
I just went to check.
Did you ever lie down with her?
Yes.
Did he ever lie down with her?
No. That's not something he did. He would tell her to lay down, or he's read her a book before, but no.
Okay. So he might have been reading her a book or she might have been sleeping.
And that's why I went to check,
What was the check?
to see if she was going to sleep.
Well, why were you trying to see if she was going to sleep? Wouldn't you have been happy that it was quiet and that she wasn't running around?
I was checking on them. What's the problem with that?
Well, what was the check? What were you checking on? Were you worried?
I was checking to see if she was doing okay, if she was going to sleep, if he
Okay.
needed help, if she was ready yet.
So you went back and you turned the light on.
No light was on.
Now you say the light was on, but when you talked to the police, you said the light was off and you turned it on.
No, the light was on.
Do you remember talking to the police and saying the light was on?
Yes.
On page 9, line 29.
Hold on, before we
Counsel, you're
show
explaining.
this, can you take
Well,
a-
this
Yeah.
is
I know, but you're showing it to the jury, and it's not a documented evidence, so I think you're using it to show the witness for some purpose, presumably to see if it refreshes her recollection.
On page 9, line 17,
Yes,
you see that?
yes,
You see that you said that you went back to the back bedroom, right?
yes,
Michael said, I'm just going to go talk to her. I didn't think anything of it, and it was taking a while, and I didn't hear nothing.
yes,
And then you said, so I opened the door and I turned on the light.
yes.
Why did you turn on the light?
I just said I made a mistake. That's not what happened.
What kind of a mistake did you make? Why did you tell the police that you turned on the light and now you say you didn't turn on the light?
I made a mistake.
Well-
There are some mistakes in this. I'm not, perfect about everything. This is a really traumatic situation in my life. My child was killed.
Right?
It's not easy
So-
to remember exactly everything that's going on.
Well,
My
you
focus was
remembered,
my child is
you
dead.
remembered that specifically, didn't you?
What?
That you turned on the light. That's what you told him.
I made a mistake of saying I turned on the light.
And you changed that because it didn't make any sense to turn on the light, did it?
I don't.
If you thought your
That doesn't make
child
sense.
was going to sleep and you went back and there was a dark room and no sound, wouldn't you be happy that she was sleeping?
Yeah, but when I went back, the light was on. I made the
Well,
mistake of saying I turned on the light.
yeah.
And I don't know what to tell you.
The reason you changed your story from September 18th, when you talked to the police, to what you are telling this jury now, didn't make any sense, because no mother would turn the light on and wake her child up if you were trying to get her to sleep.
Right, it was already on.
And how is it, what caused you to remember that?
I've been through a lot of counseling since this. I've had a very traumatic experience, and I've had more time to think about what's actually happening. I'm not diluted with drugs, and I'm clean.
Well,
At this time, I was going through a lot.
At the time, when you
It's a
talked
lot
to
to
the police?
process.
So you just got it wrong.
Yes.
You said that you turned the light on, and now you say the light was already on.
Yes.
May I show that to the jury?
Objection, Your Honor. She's acknowledged the prior.
That's the same.
Now, this was 5 minutes after Michael had taken Bella back into the room, correct?
She was in the room. She was just playing.
Well, 5 minutes from the time that he went in.
About, I can't tell you exactly how long I
Well-
was timing it, but about 5 minutes, yes.
Now, when you testified on Friday, you told us that when you stepped into the room, you saw Michael down on one knee,
Yes.
and that he punched Bella in the stomach with his fist so hard she bounced up and down.
Yes.
But when you told the story to the police on September 18th, you told them a very different story, didn't you?
I told him I thought he was punching her in the stomach.
Didn't you tell them that you didn't see any punching in the stomach?
I said that I thought he punched her in the stomach.
Yeah. You
Yes.
said you thought.
Yes.
And you also said you don't know. Correct?
I said I thought, but that's what I saw.
On page 11, line 1. So this is your question. So you open up the door, and as you described, he's standing over her. And you
Yeah.
said, answer, he's like hovering over her like. So today, your story is different, isn't it? Today, you say that he was down on one knee.
He was. I think I
Well,
actually showed him that.
You just, when you told the police, you said he was standing up, hovering
No,
over
I
her.
said he was kneeling.
Where do you see
Where did I
him?
say standing? Oh, leaning. I didn't mean standing. Leaning over. I don't even remember saying standing. He was kneeling over her.
Well, you didn't say it, did you?
No, it says standing.
You said he's hovering over her,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
What's the first number? There's another one earlier time. And then you were asked, and you were talking about an arm moving too. Can you show me what that looked like? And your answer, well, I thought it was like he was going to pick her up, but it was only one arm and it was coming back. So I don't know, and then I walked in. So when you told the police, you didn't say anything about him punching her in the stomach, did you? You said you thought he was going to pick her up and it was only one arm and it was coming back.
Yes.
All right, so you talked to the police on September 18th. You said he was standing over her, not kneeling. You said that his arm was moving back, not punching.
Okay.
So you
He
got
did.
that all wrong, didn't you?
He did punch her in the stomach. I don't.
Did you see him?
Yes.
On page 10, line 2, you were asked, question, did you see him doing anything to her? And your answer, I don't know what he was doing to her. So when you testified on Friday, you gave us this dramatic story about him kneeling down beside her, punching her with his fist so hard she bounced up and down on the bed. But on September 18th, when you first went in to tell your story, you said, you were asked, did you see him doing anything to her? And you said, I don't know what he was doing to her. That was your testimony, right?
Yeah. and it
That
said
was
that
your
he
statement.
punching her.
That was your statement, right?
Yes.
You didn't see anything, did you?
Yes, I did see him punch her.
Well, why when the police asked you, did you see him do anything to her, why did you say, I don't know what he was doing to her?
Because I wasn't sure exactly what killed her.
Well,
So that's what I was worried about.
they didn't ask you, did he kill her? They asked you, what did you see him doing? And you
Yes.
said, I don't know what he was doing to her. Why did you say that? If you now tell us such a dramatic story about him kneeling down and punching her with her fist, his fist.
A couple lines later, it says he was punching her.
Yeah.
He was punching in the stomach.
A couple of lines later, you were asked, so did you see his arm moving? And you said, yep, I did see his arm move once, but I thought he was like picking her up. I don't fucking know. All I know is when I picked up my baby, she was fucking dead.
Yes.
Right? So, in all of these questions, you never once said that you saw him punch her.
I said I
Did
think
you?
he was, and I was very nervous at the time. I can't think that you could imagine,
Yeah.
but I was very nervous at the time, yes.
Yeah,
So-
but you never saw it, did you?
Yes, I did.
You now, your testimony,
I've been saying
that you
that, yes.
you saw him punch her?
Yes,
You saw him kneeling down?
yes. I've said
Yet, when the police asked, I mean, did you have any problem talking to these police officers?
that. I was a little nervous.
Yeah, a little nervous.
My experience
Were you
with
telling the
police
truth?
has never been the greatest,
Were you telling the truth?
obviously.
Were you telling the truth?
Yes.
Were
yes,
you trying to tell the truth to
I
the
was
best of
trying
your
to.
recollection?
Yes,
And when you were trying to tell the truth to the best of your recollection, you said, I don't know what he was doing to her.
yes, I did.
So how can that be the truth if what you told us on Friday is the truth?
I think I've said this, I've had a lot of time to reflect on it. I was doing a lot of drugs, I was not thinking clearly. I'm inherently nervous of police,
Yeah.
I've never really had good experiences
So
with them.
you've
So,
thought,
yes, I was kind of
you've thought about it.
Mr. Shapiro, you're going to have to let her finish the answer.
I was kind of, I'm sorry, I was kind of scared, and it was a hard situation.
So you thought about it for a year and a half, and now you remember that he was punching her hard in the stomach, and she bounced off the bed, and you just didn't remember that at the time.
No, I knew that at the time.
Now, you also demonstrated to the police what had happened, didn't you?
Yes,
You said, can I show you what happened? Remember that?
I guess so.
At this point, we want to introduce in evidence two video clips from Ms. Pond's statement to the police where she demonstrates what happened. And I think we have agreement on that.
Based on the description that I've been given by defense counsel, there's no objection, Your Honor. I reserve the right to object if there's any discrepancy between what's been described and what's on it, but I think it's admissible, and what's been described would be admissible.
So we're going to play just a clip from this.
Two
interview.
clips.
2 clips, okay. Do you want to have those marked first? Are they on some kind of...
They're both on one flash drive, Your Honor, but I wrote out separately on the envelope the different clips.
Okay, so we'll mark that envelope then, the next exhibit.
And then, Your Honor, we can always put them on separate CDs later for the jury, so they're individualized.
Okay, so we'll mark the envelope exhibit 41, and then if we have 2 CDs, or have the segregated into 2 separate discs, we can mark that 41A and 41B. Okay?
May we play the first clip?
Yes.
Well, I would like he was going to pick her up. It was only one arm. And it was coming back. So I don't know. And then I walked in.
Was he making this?
It was like that. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't making one before I walked in the door. I mean, I don't even know if he knew she was dead. You know what I'm saying?
So you saw that first demonstration,
Yes.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
So when you demonstrated what happened, you stood up, right?
Yes.
You didn't kneel down, correct?
Yes.
And when he asked you to demonstrate what you saw his arm doing, you showed him pulling it back, didn't you?
Yes.
And it was an open hand that you were pulling back, wasn't it?
Yes, I guess. Can barely see that, but yes.
Now, I'm going to show the next clip. So, Ms. Bond, you demonstrated what happened 2 times to the detectives in the course of your interview on September 18th, correct?
Yes.
And on both occasions, you showed the person who you said was Mr. McCarthy standing up, right?
Yes.
And in each case, you showed that his hand was just down by his side, correct?
His hand was by his side.
Well, his hands were in front of him,
In front of him.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So at no time did you demonstrate somebody punching anybody, did you?
No.
And in fact, when you were demonstrating, you said, so if he was hitting her here, and you pointed, right?
Yes. I
So
didn't see that, but yeah.
you said if he were hitting her, you didn't know if he were hitting her, did you?
I said I think he was hitting her. I remember saying that.
Well, on page 25.
And this is, we've been showing the witness a transcript of this interview. Is that right? For the
That's
record?
right.
Okay.
Page 25, line 19, you say, so if he were hitting her, he was hitting her here, correct?
I can't see it, but yes. I can't see it.
You can't see the...
19, no. I see 18.
Push it up, yes. Push the pieces
No,
up.
just, yeah.
There we go.
There, yes.
Okay. All right.
Attorneys
Hmm?
hit attorneys.
So you see it, line 19, so if he was hitting her here,
Yes.
correct? So there was a big if there, wasn't there?
Yes.
Now on Friday, Mr. Deacon asked you, what happened next after you claimed to have seen Mr. McCarthy punch Bella.
Yes.
Remember? And you recall what you said?
What the fuck did you do to her?
Excuse me?
What the fuck did you do to her?
Okay. And then Mr. Deacon asked you if Mr. McCarthy had responded, and you remember what you said? You said, he just kind of looked at me.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
And then you didn't say he said anything else, did you?
No.
And that was your testimony as to what happened, right?
I had asked him again after I tried CPR. I
Now,
just don't think that came out.
when you were interviewed by the police, and they asked you back on September 18th, you remembered your story, didn't you?
I remember what was
Well, you told the police back on September 18th that Michael said she was a demon and it was her time to die.
Yes.
But when Mr. Deacon asked you that on Friday, you forgot.
No, he just didn't ask if I asked after I tried CPR. I asked him twice. Once was before, when I first walked in, and once was after I tried CPR on her. And that's when he said
Well,
no.
CPR.
Yes.
You now claim that you performed CPR.
Yes.
Did you
I
tell
said
the
that
police?
Friday.
Did you tell the police on September 18th that you performed CPR?
I'm not sure if I had told him.
Well, Ms. Bond, you've read your statement to the police a number of times, haven't you?
No.
You haven't?
I've read it once or twice, maybe.
And when is the last time you read it?
Maybe a couple weeks ago. I don't exactly remember when it was.
Would it surprise you if I told you that in your statement, which is 26 pages long, you don't say a word about doing CPR?
It doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise you because you didn't.
I did.
Did you tell the police that?
I don't think so. I'm not quite sure. I must
Well,
not have. If you're saying I didn't, obviously I didn't.
Let me show you your statement. Tell me where you saw it. You said it to the police that you did CPR.
Like I said, if I didn't say it,
Well, speak into the microphone.
like I said, if I didn't say it, I didn't say it. This interview was very all over the place too.
The
It wasn't
question,
like
Ms. Bond, the question
I'm a
is,
ton.
did you say it?
No, I didn't.
You didn't say it. So, back a year and a half ago or thereabouts, when you were interviewed by the police and they asked you what happened, didn't say a word about doing CPR.
No.
And there was no other time that you told the police that he had said she's a demon, was there? There was only that one time.
In the interview, yes.
Yeah, when you said to the police, what the fuck did you do? And you say to the police back then, he said she was a demon, she had to die.
Yes.
But when you talked on Friday, you told us on Friday that when you first said, what you fuck did you do, he just looked at you and didn't say anything.
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of hard to get your story straight when you're making it up, isn't it?
I'm not making it up.
However, on Friday you forgot all about that most dramatic part of your story.
What part?
Where you say Mr. McCarthy said she was a demon. She had to die.
I didn't forget it.
But you didn't tell her.
No, I didn't. Right.
Okay. Now, you claim that this happened and you did CPR
Yes.
because you believe she was alive.
I did CPR because I thought she was alive.
Well, weren't you trying to keep her alive?
She wasn't breathing, so I was trying to get her to breathe.
All right. So you didn't know whether she was dead or alive, did you?
She wasn't breathing.
Well,
There was no response.
sometimes people stop breathing for a moment.
They did.
So you didn't know whether she was dead or alive, did you?
I didn't think people just stopped breathing.
Well, you say that you say that you gave her CPR because you might be able to save her.
I was trying to.
Okay. But if this really happened, if your child had just been hit in such a way that you thought she might be dead, but you didn't know, isn't the first thing a mother's going to do is to call 911?
I mean, I thought I would try CPR.
To get an ambulance there with people who knew how to do it?
The only phone in the house was in his pocket.
With
First
people
off.
with... You remember it was in his pocket?
He always carries his phone
when
in
did
his
he put it in
pocket.
his pocket?
Everything's in his pocket. His keys, his phone, his everything. He never takes it out. He
His-
sleeps with it in there.
Both phones.
Yes.
Both phones.
He keeps his stuff in his pockets, yes.
Mhm. Okay. Now, you didn't think of calling for help, did you?
I tried to do CPR first.
You didn't think of calling for help before it.
I thought about it, but I tried CPR first.
You know that there's a neighbor who's adjacent to your apartment,
Yes.
Miss Torres?
Yes.
She's the neighbor who you could hear her kid through the wall, and she could hear your kid through the wall?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Not always,
Did
but
you,
yes,
did you
sometimes.
yell? Did you yell out for her and say, call 911, get an ambulance?
No.
And you know that an ambulance could have been there within 5 minutes.
I don't know how long an ambulance takes.
Well, you know Boston. You've lived here a long time.
I
haven't
guess.
you?
I mean, I haven't called an ambulance, so I don't know
Yeah.
how long that would take.
Well, you know that the response time is in minutes, don't you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I've
But
never
in any
called
case,
911, so
you
I don't
didn't
know.
care enough. You didn't care enough to try.
I was choked after that. I tried CPR, and I was
Mm-hmm.
choked after that.
Now, while you were doing CPR, what was Mr. McCarthy doing?
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there watching you?
Yep. He didn't even
And
care.
you didn't say anything to him? He didn't
I
say
had
anything
already
to
said
you?
something to him.
Where was he sitting?
The same spot he was when he punched her.
Well, you said he was kneeling when he punched
Kneeling,
her. Where was he
kneeling.
sitting?
He was kneeling right there. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I used the wrong verbiage. He was kneeling
Oh.
right there. Same
So-
spot he was in.
So you went there, you were performing CPR, and he just was kneeling there, not
Right.
doing a thing,
No,
not saying a thing.
nothing. Not a care in the world.
Now, at that point, you say that Mr. McCarthy grabbed you by the throat and threatened to kill you,
Yes,
and you blacked out.
yes. He choked me, yes.
So how long did it take him to make you black out?
I have no idea.
Well, was he choking you for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
In the trauma of a moment like that, I'm supposed to be timing things. I don't know how long those things take.
So you blacked out,
Yes,
unconscious.
yes. And for all I knew, I wasn't going to wake up. I thought I was dead.
When you were interviewed by the police on September 18th, did you ever tell them that you blacked out at any time?
No, I think I said he choked me, and I think that might have been near the end of the interview. I don't even...
The question, Ms. Bond, was when you talked to the police on September 18th, did you tell them anything about blacking out at all?
I don't think so.
No. So this was an important part of the story you told the jury the other day, wasn't it?
Yes,
You were blacked out, so you couldn't do anything.
yes,
So you couldn't do anything to help your child
yes,
because you were blacked out.
yes. Choked
But,
out, yes.
but when you were interviewed by the police a year and a half or more ago, you just didn't remember that, did you?
I didn't say I didn't remember it.
Well, you didn't tell them, did you?
That interview was all over the place. It wasn't a straight shot interview, so no, it was all over the place.
Did they ask you?
So by the time I got one question answered, they had another one for me. I mean, you must have noticed, like, there's one after the other, and sometimes you don't get to finish everything.
And all of
And then you're on
those...
to the next step.
You finished?
Yeah.
All of those questions that they were asking you on September 18th were, what happened next, right?
Yes,
You told them one thing, and they said, what happened next?
yes,
You told them another thing, and they said, what happened next, right?
yes.
Okay, when you got to the part where you claim that Mr. McCarthy had killed Bella and threatened you, and they said, what happened next? You didn't tell him he choked you and you blacked out, did you?
No, I said he choked me. It was an interview that was kind of it was generalized interview, excuse me if I should say, but it wasn't specifics anything yet. They didn't get into specifics.
They didn't get into specifics?
Not everything, no.
Did they ask you what happened?
What happened next, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I told the story.
That wasn't specific enough to you to say what happened next?
I told him he choked me. I didn't say that he blacked out, I guess.
And after that, he said, he snatched me up by the neck and told me if I said anything, he'd kill me.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's when I said he choked me, yes.
Okay. But you didn't say anything about blacking out, did you?
I don't think so. No, I'm not sure.
Okay. There were times that Mr. McCarthy, I think you said, put Bella to bed because she was having a hard time.
No, there were times when her mattress was in my room and the doors would be wide open and he'd say, just lay down and go to sleep.
Okay.
And she listened.
Were there times?
Bring her to bed or anything.
Were there times when she would have bad dreams?
Sometimes, I guess, yeah. She sweated a lot. She moves around a lot. A couple of times she woke up screaming.
Do you remember telling the police on page 11, line 24? No, he said that he, being Mr. McCarthy, said that she's had crazy dreams, and yeah, she's told me about some weird dreams with like black demons or whatever. But what kid doesn't have nightmares? You know what I'm saying? He told me that she needed to tell him something. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. She would say she had like dreams of, so it wasn't really demons, it was black people around, like bad people around me. That was what she would say.
And he tried to comfort her about those dreams, didn't he?
I don't know what comfort he would ask her.
Well, do you recall that he would sit down with her and try to tell her not to be afraid?
No, I don't remember that.
We offer as the next exhibit an audio from Mr. McCarthy's phone that the Commonwealth has been provided.
No objection.
Okay. I'm sorry, this is an audio.
This is an audio from Mr. McCarthy's phone, dated 4/26, April 26, 2015, at 11:45. No, at 1:11:45 at night.
So I'm sorry, it's actually an audio, it's a recording of a phone call? Is that it?
1:11:45 in the afternoon.
1:11:45. My mistake, in the afternoon.
So it's on, the date is April?
April 26, 2015.
Okay. There's no objection, and we'll admit that?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, and it's going to be marked eventually. It'll be 42 next.
How's it going with that? I'm trying to touch with that monster. Hey, the poo-poo monsters, here's what we do. Here's what we do. That's what they look like, right? That's what color are those ones? White. Those are white ones, right? Now when we think of the love,
Look at, yeah, black eyes. This is what we do to them. We make their heads blow up.
Yeah, yeah, blown up.
You see how his head's blown up? When you think of his head blowing up with love, you really concentrate and think of it, honey, you make his head blow up and then he's got to leave. Then, yeah, that's what you want to do. Right? Yeah, so that's what you do. You think of that and that blows his head off.
Yeah.
That blows his head off. You think about it, you use your love and you really concentrate. But that's the monster too, but his head's blowing off. That's the monster.
Same one.
And that's what he looks like at the end.
A big mushy pile of nothing.
It's just a big...
Mushy pile.
Yeah, that's him at the end. So that's all him. That's him at the beginning. That's the one. That? Yeah. But, so that's the white monster, right? When they take you? Yeah, and you make his head blow up like that.
Look at that eyeballs going out.
You make his head blow up. You think of that. Remember this picture? And think of it. And you make his head blow up. And next time, if they ever come and take you again,
it's in falling apart.
yeah, you make his head blow up. Next time, if they ever come back and they get you in your dream, you think of his head blowing up like that, and you make his head blow up. That's how they let you go. But that's the same monster. That's when you make his head blow up, Bella.
This is what you make him look like, but it's doing.
You think of his head blowing up. Yeah, when they come and get you when you're sleeping, you think of their head blowing up, and you make their head blow up, and then that's what they turn into. And then they let you go, and then you come back.
Yeah.
Then they have to, you kill them. Then you gotta let them go, you make their heads blow up. Yeah, he'll look like that at first, and then you make his head blow up by just thinking of it. You don't even have to touch him. All you do is really think about it. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to. You don't even have to touch him. You touch him with your thought. You touch him with your thought, the way you think. You think, and you touch him with your thought. Do you know what a laser is? You know what a laser is? Like a laser beam. A bullet from a gun. A bullet from a gun. To shoot. You don't know what that is? And you know what a laser is, too. And they shoot in the cartoons, and they shoot the guns, and in the movies. Right? Cartoons?
No.
You've never seen them do that? Oh, yeah, but listen, it's the same way that the laser goes. You shoot the laser from right here, from right between your eyes. You shoot the laser from right between your eyes. You shoot it, and you hit them right there. You hit the monster right here. You hit the monster right there, and then that's what happens to him. And then he turns into that. See, and there are his hands. And his hands are blown off. His hands go. Stinky little smelly poo-poo monster. This is what you do to them. You blow them up. Stinky poo-poo. They're just silly little babies. And you're a big girl, so you're stronger than them.
You're stronger.
You're a big girl, and they're just stupid little babies.
Right?
Yeah, so you blow them up by thinking of it from here. Remember what... Yeah, listen, honey, you remember what I'm telling you. You remember, don't forget, you use right here, and you send the laser out like a... And you hit the monster right between his eyes with it. You go, like this. Boom. And you hit the monster, and then he'll go, boom. And his head will go up, and he'll turn into that. Yeah, boom. You hit him right there. You use right here. You think right here, and you concentrate, and you think. And you go, don't touch me, monster. I'm going home. Get away from me, you stinky poo-poo smelling monster. Boo! And you shoot it, and you go, boo, boom. And you hit him right there between his eyes. How do you do it? Show me what you're going to do. Where you going to hit him? But where you going to hit him? Yeah, right between his eyes. That's where you hit him. You hit him right there.
Right here.
Yeah, and then and then boom, and then that's what he turns into.
Right here.
Yeah, and then he turns into that. That's what you do to all the monsters. And they gotta let you go. Okay? Good girl. Yeah. Good girl.
So, Ms. Bond, that was Michael McCarthy trying to help Bella deal with her nightmares.
Yeah, both of us, yeah.
Well, do you recall that?
Yes, I do, actually.
And he was telling them to make the monster's head blow up with love
Yeah.
and to use her thought to make the monsters go away.
That's what he was saying, yes.
Good time to break, Your Honor.
So we're going to recess for the day. Tomorrow, just to remind you, is going to be a half day. We're going to recess at 1. So we'll Thursday. We'll recess at 1. The other 2 days we'll have full days, Wednesday and Friday. So I'm going to release you to return tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, to begin. Again, don't talk about this case. Don't do any independent investigation. Do stay away from any news reports or anyone associated with the case. And be on time as you have. We'll see you tomorrow morning.